Hello YouTube, and welcome to my channel. If you've been here before, then welcome back. And this is going to be the second part of the series, and we're going to start on the back. The back should theoretically be easier than the front to do. Now what I'm wanting to do is basically keep as much width as possible on my fender chop. So as you can see, I've masked this one off. I'll go over briefly how to, as far as the masking process, how to keep your line straight. Because I'm keeping basically full width on the fenders, there's, I can kind of eyeball, and kind of keep my tape even from my edge. If you're wanting to go to a narrow fender look, it might be worth your time to take. Now, my suggestion is the first fender, before you cut anything, get your masking tape and play with it. If you don't know exactly what you want, run your masking tape, have a look at it. If it's not to your liking, then you can pull the masking tape up, move it, and adjust it. Once you get your masking tape exactly where you want on your first fender, if you're like I said, mine's pretty easy because I'm basically just taking the roll off, and then I'm basically just kind of following the edge of my roll. I'm going to take this section out to keep as much width as I can on my fender. If you was coming, on up to here, mask your first one, then it would really pay to take, like here at this corner where this roll stops, measure that. Middle of it, measure it that way, and write it down. Don't trust your memory. That way you can take your measurements and where your measurements are at, and then go to the other side, measure, make a mark, measure, make a mark, measure, make a mark. And then when you're doing your masking to get your line straight, you're able to take and just kind of from mark to mark, pull your masking tape taut, and then you've got a nice straight line. Follow, and that would make this side, make both sides look about even. But like I said, where I'm basically just following the curve and the edge on this, it's really simple for me, because all I have to do is maintain about equal distance on both sides. So we'll bring you over here to this side that I haven't masked off, and I'll just quickly walk you through it. So of course you'll need your masking tape, and like I said, if you was going further back, you would want to measure and make some marks as guides for your when you go to mask. But since I'm keeping basically full width fenders, just chopping iron tape and come down here and start. And when I start, I'm going to bring my tape past the edge so I can wrap it around, so that way it makes a little better attachment point. And then I want to pull my tape. Better attachment point if you're don't have junk on your underside. But I want to just pull my tape with some tension on it, and then I can take and lay it down, and then I can take and work around my curve, trying to keep about. My tape got wet earlier, so let's try that again. So I can take and just kind of eyeball, and then bring it around my curve, and then I can take, it ain't wanting to stick. Technical difficulties. Yeah. That's it. Oh, good. Yeah, stick. So we want to bring it right around, following that roll, and then right on down. The trickiest part is keeping everything straight around your rolls and your edges. Once you hit your long straight sections, you can basically just pull it tight and it's there. So that's got it pretty well matched off the way I want it. So now I've got both fenders matched, and we can fire up the Dremel, and I'm going to cut these on the Jeep. It's just seems to be a little easier that way. Then once I get my cuts made, I'll pull my fenders off to trim up the inner fender. So let's go set back up, and we'll get the first one. Sorry about that, the camera died. So we went ahead, finished up our cut. Now this is much easier to deal with because the only thing that holds your inner fender liner in is plastic push pins, and the only thing that holds this outer piece are your Jeep fender clips, which I'm going to have to buy me some. And I'm just kind of spacing what I have out for the time being, but I'll have to buy some and replace them later. So now that we've got this, which I've already cleaned up my cut, basically just take your pocket knife along and get all the burrs and everything off. So basically what I've done is I've just took my plastic fender liner and I've set it in here and just kind of held it up into place to determine where I'm going to need to cut. So right here, these two tabs actually are mounting points to this outer where that goes. So I'm going to take and bring my cut probably just in front of that. I'm going to run that cut all the ways around and then mock it up again and see if I need to do any trimming. But we'll take and get the jigsaw. I will say that something like a jigsaw cuts much quicker, but it's harder to get the nice steady lines with one. So we'll reset, get the jigsaw, and get this inner fender chopped. Okay, so I have my automotive door trim. Buy it down at your auto parts store. Just a quick tip. This stuff works better when it's warm. So, you know, you set it out in the sun to let it kind of soften. It's easier to work with before you start in on this. So what we'll do is we'll just take, and it's got a split in it with glue. So we'll just take our split section and we'll work it and get it started. And then we'll just run our trim along this outside edge here, and that will finish up our fender. Now I like to take and make sure that it's pressed on good. That way it's, you know, it doesn't come off. If you press it on firmly, you make sure that the glue is in good contact with the edge. And sometimes it can be difficult. I find that it's easiest to do if you work in small sections and kind of roll it on from a 90. That kind of helps open the split. Hey folks, we're back. We've got both sides done on the back. So now we've got all four of the factory fenders chopped, trimmed, and the fender liners trimmed up. So I figure we'll finish this video out with a walk around and maybe just a quick discussion. Yeah, I'm really happy with the look. Like I said, if you're doing a factory fender chop, you can make them narrower or you can keep them wide. You can take and change the look of your Jeep by bringing it past the roll and doing a flat fender look, or you can keep that, or you could, I actually chopped a good portion off of the front. You could actually bring it further down and just keep the OE style look, and just take the corners off, take the pocket corners off. I do recommend going down to your hardware store, picking up 2 of these elevator bolts. Before I put that on, that was flat, floppy. Put it in, now it's nice and solid. I'm going to have to order some of the fender clips. I've got quite a few missing. A couple of them broke while I was doing this. I will say that the front is much harder to do than the back due to the support piece that you have to deal with. The back, everything just pops out and push pins back in. if you don't have a trim removal tool, just a small pry bar works wonders. Much easier than trying to do it with flathead screwdrivers. I picked up the automotive trim. I had enough to do the front, but I had to go get some for the back. I'd say probably go ahead and pick up 2 rolls of it while you're at the auto parts store. It's better to have more than you need than have to stop and go get more for that last fender. But you will use quite a bit. So with that, oh, and I mentioned it previously, but I may or may not go back in with some black spray paint where you can see the body under the fenders now. I may or may not go in with some black spray paint and just kind of paint that to hide everything so it looks a little more finished. I may leave it like it is. I mean, I don't know. I've not made my mind up yet. But and of course, if you don't have a rotary tool, jigsaw saw. I don't think I'd recommend the Sawzall, it being as big as it is. But jigsaw definitely you could do it with. Or I mean, if a good hacksaw blade would probably be just fine. Don't know. I don't think you could actually fit the whole hacksaw halfway through the fender, but I'm taking a hacksaw blade and wrapping some tape around one end to make a handsaw would probably work fine if you don't have any power tools. So with all that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see y'all later.